Paul Lafrance here, Stream of Consciousness series. In this video, we're going to talk about why I chase tornadoes. And I like the way this is tying into the last video about my grandfather in World War II. And I'm going to set our timer here. If you are curious as to what this video is that you're looking at, you're looking for a tornado video, and then you've got me. Go back to the intro video of this entire series, and it'll explain the whole thing to you. So, why I chase tornadoes. Now, yes, do I actually chase real life tornadoes? I have been known to do so. Yes, this is true. Is it much to the... are my daughters happy about it when I do it? No, they're not. They're a little scared for dad. But I think it's understanding that I used to be terrified of tornadoes. I had dreams of tornadoes that would scare the hell out of me as a kid. And then many years later, I watched a preview in the theater with my wife for this movie called Twister. And when I watched the preview, I believe I almost crushed her hand into powder because it was just reminding me of all these dreams that I had. And then I watched the movie. And while I was watching the movie, a tornado actually struck outside of the town in Midland, Ontario, where I was. And the theater actually flooded while watching the movie. And instead of being afraid, I became obsessed. I became absolutely obsessed. And I think I've watched pretty much every tornado video there is, and whenever there's a tornado warning, I'm out chasing it. Now, understand that I am well aware of the destruction that tornadoes cause, and the horrible stories. I just went by one that struck in Barrie just about a month ago, and understanding that that's not what this is about. This isn't about having like some childlike addiction to tornadoes, despite the damage they cause and the deaths they can bring. It's a metaphorical understanding, because I was afraid of something and then I wasn't. I was afraid of something and I saw it in a different light and then I wasn't. And from that day forward, I understood that in all these dreams, I was picturing the uncontrollable, unexplainable hand of God in my life through these tornado dreams. And I realized looking back that just there was this childlike awe, this fear and awe. And I think the fear and awe of what we don't understand is lost upon our culture, which is so spiritually dead. I think third world nations are spiritually alive with the fear and awe of the unknown, of God and his omnipotence. And I don't mean fear like God's going to strike me down. Don't get me started on that. That's not God. I mean just the childlike wonder, like just the awesomeness. Not like pizza is awesome. It's like, no, like the universe is awesome. A tornado, this unbelievably undescribable, uncontrollable thing is awesome. And I think the reason why I love this topic and why I have such a fascination with them is because of this desire in my life to pursue the things in my life that are controlling me with fear. And I guess the question is, if we know, and I'm looking forward to your comments, if we know that we are being controlled by fear in our life, if we know that something is ruling us by fear, wouldn't we want to find out what it is and not let it rule us anymore? Because sometimes we have our lives built up on foundations that are so faulty and are built on such sand that are not stable. We've convinced ourselves that what we have built our lives on to get to the place where we are is stable, when we know they're not. And I think a lot of us are kind of waiting. I think there are a lot of us that could use our foundations being upheaved out of the ground and placed in a new place, or destroyed entirely to rebuild anew. I talked in an earlier video about the gift that COVID's given us about perspective, and that's why I chase tornadoes. Chasing tornadoes is chasing after the things in our lives that are controlling us through fear or terror on a subconscious level most of the time. And not being lazy about any of that, because why the hell would we want to build a foundation on fear in this world where we have such limited amount of time? I just talked about my grandfather's, fighting for freedom and going, are we fucking wasting it by living a life ruled by fear instead of pursuing and living life to the fullest, instead of believing that everything we have can be taken away from us if we don't do everything we can to protect it and live a life based on that? If that was me, and I was, but I would challenge anybody, if that's your foundation, maybe a tornado is just what you need. maybe something coming up out of the blue that seems like it's the worst possible thing can have you waking up like a lot of people have after COVID and looking around going, this was a great gift that allowed me to completely change the direction of my life. Food for thought. Interested in your comments on that one. Moving on to our next topic, which is, am I a boy or am I a man? I think you're going to want to tune into this one. It's a good one.